So hello friends, today I'm going to show you how to do a full spectrum conversion on this camera. It is a Nikon D800, and then what we're going to do is to disassemble the camera until we reach the sensor. Then what we're going to do is to replace the hot mirror by a quartz glass. With that we will be able to let light pass from 250 nanometers up to 1200 nanometers, even though the sensor will be sensitive at about 300 to 1100 nanometers. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. And then before I start disassembling the camera, a few recommendations. I took the battery a few days ago, so just to let the capacitor that fits the flash to discharge. This is important. This is for the safety of the electronics and then also for your personal safety. And then when working with electronic equipment, wear a grounding strap. I don't have any, but then I'm feet on the ground, not wearing shoes, so this is the thing I use, because wearing the strap and it bothers for the motion of the hands. And then before start working, is discharge yourself. And then the way I do that is I go and I touch one of the heaters of the house, because where I live these are connected to the ground, to the electrical ground. So that's just for before start working on electronic equipment. So now what we're going to do is to start removing screws, a lot of them. So first thing we do is we take out this small rubber, because there are a few guys hiding behind this guy. Then we're going to remove this battery door. And then we start working with, let's try a small screwdriver. That was a J000. Let's try the J00. And then let's remove all the guys here on the bottom. Okay, and then the thing what I try to do is to keep the screws in a pattern that is going to match the reassembly pattern. So this is what I have here, because for example notice here that this screw is slightly shorter, and then here this one is longer, and then these two are the same, and then this one is shorter. So that's a bit important to keep in mind. So now we tackle the side of the camera. this rubber here. They are very well glued, as you can see. Okay. And then that just to reach this guy here. And then with that we can remove the side, and then this little guy here which is still blocking. So I will leave it in. Then I think, careful with that, you don't want to mess with your screws. Okay. We can remove the back of the camera, the bottom as well, I think. Okay. I think I forgot to remove the bottom. Here you can take it out. And then here on this side we reach our first piece of electronics, and then we want to disconnect these guys. This guy should disconnect this way. Okay. Here you go. So we'll just remove the back. Okay. This is really shiny with the lamps I have. So what we're going to do next, let me put this somewhere safe. So what we're going to do next is to remove this element here. Okay, so we remove the shiny part, and then now we need to disconnect all these guys. I'm not sure how to disconnect this guy. Okay, up. Here you go. Okay, so we have one guy also below here. Let's try to remove the last two screws holding this PCB. To remove the PCB, you need also to move this here a bit. Okay. And here I can take this out. Okay, I forgot one connector here. So, and then what I can do is just to move it here up, and then it will hold the two small cables. Okay, and then we reach the sensor region, and then here we need to be extremely careful, and then just to be safe I'm going to take the big screwdriver, because we want to be sure we unscrew. Okay, the screws are really tight usually, and then the last thing we want to do is just to break them. So this is just isopropyl alcohol, and then it's just to either dissolve some of the glue that was used for these screws, or to lubrify. So what we're going to do is to let it sit for a few minutes, and then we try again. Okay, something that I don't like a lot happened, and that is one of the screws was too tight. I was able to remove the other two, but then this one was so hard that at the end I ruined the screw head, and then I had to drill the screw head. Okay, so anyway, I was very careful with that, and then I remove all the pieces of metal dust that appear after drilling the screw head. So now we're going to remove the sensor, and then here I seem to be having trouble because I have all these cooling pads. Okay, so we had to remove this part with just one single screw on the top, as just before. So we were able to access this, which is the screw fixing the cooling pad. Around. Okay, finally we reach the sensor assembly. Let us put the camera somewhere safe, and then here we can keep our work. Okay, you see something nice already is that we will need to do soldering, desoldering. Okay, so we are almost there. What we need to do, okay, I have one cable. Okay, and then here we have the filter which has the vibration, and the piezo actuators just to remove dust. I've never been convinced that these things work, but anyway. Okay, and then we want to push it out. We're going to recover this, and then we're going to build a filter out of it. Okay, so first guy out, and then the next guy we want to remove is the hot mirror, which is here. Okay, below this rubber guy. Oh, okay. No. Okay, that's it. Okay, it's here. This is the hot mirror. Up. Okay, this is the hot mirror. It is extremely thin. I'm gonna keep it in place because now I have to go and grab the quartz replacement we're going to use. So see you in a few seconds. Okay, so I did this off the camera, but I already took the two filters out of the camera, and then I replaced them by a quartz glass that I cut myself. You have the video here, and then the link on the corner for that. And then there are a few considerations about the thickness of the glass that I explain here. I'm ready to start reassembling the camera, but then before that I'm going to tell you something about this guy. So this guy I remove it. This guy we remove here too, and then this is the replacement guy. I know, very hard to see, but that's our guy. And then let me put okay, let me move the image here. Okay, so I measure this guy. This guy here is 0.8 millimeters. I measure this guy here, 0.5 millimeters thickness, and then these two guys combined is going to make 1.3 millimeters. This guy here, I found this quartz glass 1.5 millimeters, and then I was able to do the replacement. I checked infinity focusing, and then it's working. Okay, so I'm going to explain you that to you. So these two guys here, they are flat glasses, and then they're not going to modify the light in the sense to create an image, but then what they're going to do, they're going to shift the focal plane by, I think it is half or a third of the equivalent glass thickness. This is going to depend obviously on the diffraction coefficient, refraction coefficient, and so on. So, but then what I want to say with all that is that these guys are going to participate on the optical recipe of the lens. So if you remove them, you're going to shorten the focal plane, so you will be changing the flange distance by, okay, here we said, and we have 1.3 millimeters, and then we assume it's half. I'm going to check, I'm going to add an image of the book I found where it is explained. But then if we assume it is half, so we will be changing, if we just simply remove them, that works too. We will be moving the flange distance by 0.6 millimeters. About that. That's assuming that it is half. So at the end of the day, you will change the flange distance and therefore the focusing plane, so you won't be able to get focus at infinity because of that. And then if you use this guy, at the end of the day, if it is slightly thicker, it's not a big deal. So here we have 0.2 millimeters more thicker, so we're going to change the flange distance by 0.1 millimeters. So at the end of the day, I think this is within the mechanical and construction tolerances of the lens, so it should be okay. I tested already and it actually works. So that's all for why you need to do a replacement on the glass window. As I told you before, you can do without, but then you have a high risk of not having focus at infinity anymore. So and now we go back to reassemble the camera. So first thing, take this guy, I flip it down, then we get into the camera. So the locations to put the sensor, there are actually some small columns into the body that tell me where the sensor should go. Zooming, so I put first screw. I pay attention not to over tighten it because I don't want to have the same problem as the other screw whose head we had to destroy. So in case I have to go back, I absolutely want to avoid that. Okay, then here we need to put this element here, so we can do the heat dissipation to the body of the camera. It's very annoying to work with these really shiny things. Okay, so these videos are not really the most easy to record because there are so many things going on, and then I just had one screw falling into the ground. Good thing I didn't lost it. working with gloves and really small screws, it's something that is not very compatible. So okay, I had the gloves, which was essentially to work with the sensor, so I can just take it out now. I will connect this ribbon cable now so I don't forget about it. Okay, so here we are done. Now we need to get the PCB back, and then here we need to get all these cables on the PCB side, so we can install it all over again, checking I don't forget anyone. Okay, and then there are some docking points here, so here and here, and then we can start connecting stuff. And then I see that this guy here we need to be very careful with it. Okay, we got it in. So you see what I'm doing? I'm putting this cable already into the connector it should go, because it will be very difficult to put them after. This guy here, we don't need it anymore. Okay, and then if I remember correctly, there was 2 screws. This one here, that was holding the PCB. I can use it to hold the PCB, and then I need to put this connector back, which seems like a difficult task with the PCB in position. Let's try to get the PCB again in position. So this guy pushes himself into the ribbon. And then, okay, seems to be good. Then here, then this guy here, this very little guy here, we are forgetting a few guys here. Okay, and then that was the reason I was getting like a spring effect on the PCB. Put the screw, I think. Okay, and then this guy is very difficult to put in position. Okay, let's try it like that. Let's give it some resistance. There's this cable here. Which is not in position. Okay, as you can see, this thing is far from easy. Okay, back. Okay. Let's take the longest one. Okay. Okay, good to know that this guy can be so easily changed. Didn't know about it. Okay, so I have almost everything. I just want to test that the camera is still alive, which is the most important thing. I go to pick a battery. Okay, so I have battery. We have a lens. Well, the camera is telling me there is a battery here. So now I need a memory card. Which I have to put. Okay, so it's loose yet. Okay, I have an image. Great, I have a full spectrum camera, D800. So, this is all I wanted to show today. Thanks for watching and see you next time.